It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, Maiyegun don't come, my people make we shout, Maiyegun don't come, Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, Maiyegun don't come, Maiyegun diary Politico, Maiyegun don't come, this one not the off in mind, Maiyegun don't come, and in the touchlight every corner, Maiyegun don't come. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you ladder. Maiyegun don't come. My people make we shout. Maiyegun don't come. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses. Maiyegun don't come. Maiyegun diary Politico. Maiyegun don't come. This one not they off in mind. Maiyegun don't come. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud. Maiyegun don't come. My people make you shout. Maiyegun don't come. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses. Maiyegun don't come. Maiyegun diary Politico. Maiyegun don't come. This man not the off in mind. Maiyegun don't come. Aha. Now him una don hear all these bad politicians.
Hello there. Apologies for the latest start. Good evening to you, good afternoon to you, and good morning to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun live.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Bó bá ṣe àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Thank you so much. As you are joining, please remember, share the broadcast, okay? Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them, Maiyegun today, there is actually a load of stuff to share tonight. Please share the broadcast. Suddenly, Emefiole, the DSS, said they arrested him for money laundering, for sponsoring terrorism, for sponsoring unknown gunmen, for corruption, self-enrichment, forex round tripping, and sabotaging the economy. Suddenly, they said they are only charging him as unknown gunman. Emefiole.
Lórí Facebook, And yes, we like you. Lórí YouTube.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, brethren, we have a copy of Tinubu's lawyer's written address. Written address is like the closing of their defense of their case. And the content of that written address, we have them here tonight.
And yes, we like and yes, we like ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. And yes, we like
Thank you.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin òun.
You are an illegitimate president. Whatever you do right now, you are just doing them at your own prerogative. The court will decide who is the real president of Nigeria. Labour Party, ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Mutide. So good evening to you once again. Good morning to you and good afternoon to you from wherever you are watching this broadcast from. It is Maiyegun live. For those who are watching live, by the way, if you are watching a replay, ignore those ferferity from the beginning. You can skip all that. Now, if you have read the caption of this broadcast, which is the rider, and you have also managed to read the body of this broadcast, which is what describes what we are going to likely talk about, something in detail, and you have also liked the broadcast, shared it, I want to say thank you to you personally. So thank you. Now, let's take it from the start, okay? You saw as part of what they called Tinubu's first good actions, the suspension of Emefiole and his subsequent arrest. And before his arrest, there were dramas. This drama started under Bukwari. And it was that the Daura Secret Service working for Bukwari, they declared Emefiole, the central bank governor, wanted. Same guy also working for Bukwari, both supposedly carrying out the orders of Bukwari, but they didn't get to arrest him. Bukwari had to provide another set of security for Emefiole, okay, until he became the sacrificial lamb of Bukwari's government, just like Dasuki. Do you remember Sambo Dasuki? Of course you do. Now, the story of Emefiole is about to start looking so similar, if not same, as Dasuki. Dasuki was popularly, declared as a rogue, thief, national security advisor that sat on the resources that was meant to be used in combating Boko Haram. Nobody will hear that and would not want the head of Dasuki on the next supper plate. They rode on this for so long, but when it was time for them to sue Dasuki, take him to court, they locked him up, kept him in Comunicado. Nobody saw him. And they kept him somewhere that it's called Daura Secret Service DSS detention. While the media in Nigeria, they were running on different bogus stories pushed by Bukwari's government. Remember those days now, Abi? You were waiting for Dasuki to have his day in court so that they can probe him how he colluded with the Nigeria military and then with Goodluck Jonathan, and they swallowed $2 billion. But because he didn't tell you the whole story, and it was actually at the time that Bukwari was coming to fight corruption. Here you get. So everyone that when Bukwari wanted to go after anybody, all they had to say is that the person was corrupt. So when it was time for them to bring Dasuki to court, guess what kind of charges they brought against Dasuki? National Security Advisor, a retired general in Nigerian Army. They charged him for illegal gun possession. nothing to do with $2 billion he stole or he shared to other people, because the person that ordered his arrest, Bokwari, also collected nearly $500,000 cash, with another over 600 million naira worth of SUV bulletproof cars they gave to him. So the media was talking about the corruption. But when it was time for them to sue Dasuki for all of this corruption, they sued him for illegal gun possession, that they found some gun in his custody. And these guns, he didn't have license for them. Okay, go ahead and prove the illegal gun possession. Dasuki never attended court twice until they finally said he should go. Because if they actually wanted to probe the office of the National Security Advisor under Jonathan, the money expended, okay, and the results they got, heads will roll. Of course, heads will roll, including those who helped APC, Egbekegbe, sabotage Goodluck Egbere Jonathan. So what did they do? They just let you enjoy the media frenzy, and everybody just moved on until Bokwari's Shege caught up with a lot of you and no strength to even shout or ask questions anymore. While Dasuki was in jail, Dasuki, who was blamed for thousands of people who died in the northern part of Nigeria in the hands of the Boko Haram terrorists, Dasuki was in jail. His wife was giving birth to new kids. Anyway, that is the story of Dasuki. Now, this second time of Bokwari, where Emefiole, who happened to be part of the same PDP government, Goodluck Egbere Jonathan's government, the same central bank that supposedly released all of that cash, bullion vans, to the politicians on the order of Dasuki, according to the media. When they were sacking and arresting, they kept Emefiole. In fact, they renewed, they verified or confirmed him. He was part of that too. So keeping Emefiole, 8 years down the line, Nigeria entered the worst session of corruption. Okay? Nigeria experienced the worst kind of economy. Okay? Recession was like normal thing to them. Job losses, stealing of money, printing of money. They broke all rules. And Emefiole that broke all of these rules, he broke them on the order of Bokwari. So they said Emefiole, what Emefiole cost Nigeria in that infamous, unsuccessful recoloring of your naira, the printing of money, the forex kickback, and money laundering, and all of the things they told you in the media, they locked Emefiole up for almost a month now. Yes, it's been locked up for almost a month. Until his own lawyers had to go to court to sue the DSS. That what are you doing with him? Take him to court or let him go. Now, the same Daura Secret Service that has now changed to Dokwemu Stupid Service under Kolu, the Escobats, they gave them a week to sue and bring all of these charges against him. Sure you get? So that, oh yeah, Emefiole, come and start talking about all this money. Come and start talking about all of this load of printed cash. Come and start talking about all these policies that you put in place for your friends and families. Because if they had to actually charge Emefiole, they will arrest Bokwari before Ishai tonight. What time is it? Oh, it's already past Ishai. They will arrest Bokwari. They would have arrested Bokwari by now. If they should charge Emefiole for all of his crimes, it's like charging Emefiole for Bokwari's crime. They would have to arrest the entire Bokwari's family. I'm not joking, no. All Bokwari's children, okay? Their husbands, their wives, Bokwari's wife. They will arrest the entire family. They will then go ahead and start arresting Bokwari's in-laws. These are families of his wives, okay? Family of, you know what I mean, in-laws. After that, they will come back, they will then go straight into Boko Haram's immediate, nuclear family, cousins, nephew, and the rest of them, including those who are dead. They will arrest all their children. It was a bazaar. Central Bank of Nigeria became the piggy bank of these criminals led by Boko Haram. It was like entire bleeding. So the media said they found 100 kiniko billion, 7 kiniko billion, 100 and kiniko trillion that Emefiole stole, the same way they told you about Dasuki and the rest of them at the time. But the intention is not to prosecute Emefiole at all. In fact, if they had that intention, Boko Haram and Tinubu will not meet in London. They won't. It would have been so straightforward. You see, if they should charge Emefiole for all his crime against Nigeria, the crimes he committed, they will be the crimes of Boko Haram because he committed all these crimes straight with the order of Boko Haram. So there's no way you're going to pick him. There is no way they will prosecute Dasuki for his crimes that they will not arrest Goodluck Jonathan, his wife, his family, and even this Emefiole and so many other people from that same central bank. So if they should prosecute Emefiole for his crime, they will begin to arrest all your state governors, a lot of them. Past governors, present governor, former senator, present senator, former minister. Emefiole turned the Central Bank of Nigeria to his usual, his biblical role, not role, biblical name, printing money. You know what is called fiscal irresponsibility, fiscal rascality. It's like you could do whatever you want, no consequences. When businesses were dying, people were losing their savings, their investment, their jobs. People were actually losing everything. This was like a crime against, but if they need to do that normally, Boko Haram will not sleep in Daura tonight. So what did they come up with? Dokpemu Stupid Service, DSS. In order to beat the deadline given by the court for them to either sue Emefiole or just let him go, they decided to sue him. Guess what they are suing him for? They said they checked his house and they found 300,000 naira cash that he couldn't account for. Then they found a gun. I'll put it on the screen. Let's take a look at it so I can read out for you. Okay? Country of 200 million people, that these clowns, these jokers, actually believe that, our people in Somalia, if you are watching me, country of supposed sophisticated 200 million people, where jokers, clowns like this are playing a script. They are actually things that actually have to do with lives of people. And as I said, right, this is the charges. They say count 1. The first count against Emefiole, that you, Godwin Emefiole, of number 8, Colorado Street, Maitama, Abuja, on or blah, 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 blah. At number 3, Iru Close, Ikoyi, Etiosa, local government, Lagos State, within the jurisdiction of this court, honorable court, add in your possession 1 single barrel shotgun, Joseph Magnum 8371 without license. You thereby committed an offense contrary to section blah, 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 blah of firearms. Count 2, that you, Godwin Emefiole, male of this blah, 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 Ikoyi, Etiosa, that you in this honorable court, right, jurisdiction of this honorable court, in your possession, 123 rounds of live ammunition, cartridges, without license. You hereby committed an offense contrary to section 8, blah, 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 firearms nonsense and all that. Had they been serious? These are the 2 count charges brought against Emefiole. And they are asking the court to give them the power to keep him in their detention because they are still doing their investigation. Is this not embarrassing? Is this not even like a shame? This guy, on the order of Bokwari, destroyed the Nigeria economy, destroyed Nigerian jobs, destroyed Nigeria businesses, left Nigeria in this generational indebtedness. Okay? And here you are charging him for having a gun and then some cartridges without license. So what they are saying right now is that Emefiole is going to be charged as an unknown gunman. That's it. Are you listening? Yeah? Emefiole will now be charged as unknown gunman. And all the story that is sponsoring terrorism, funding terrorism, okay, is doing money laundering, is, when he was printing money for Bokwari, he was taking some for himself, okay? When he was, giving out this no collateral loan to some of the businesses associated with Bokwari's friends and families. So in all of this, they are just essays. According to these guys, so Emefiole is now being charged as an unknown gunman. Is that not a joke? After all of this. Now, when they dropped that at their own court, the court said if they don't release him and they don't charge him, okay? If they are not charging him, then if they don't charge him in 1 week, they should let him go. Yeah, I think his lawyer even said that. Where is that again? Hang on. Please.
And detained on the 10th of June by operatives of the DSS. While the DSS argued that a detention order was obtained from an Abuja magistrate, Emefiele's lawyer countered that his arrest and detention without formal charge is a contravention of the law. Both parties argued on the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the matter. Ruling on the application of enforcement of fundamental right, Justice Hamza Muazu held that Section 46, subsection 1 of the Constitution empowered the FCT court to adjudicate on the matter. The judge held that it is unlawful for the DSS to continue to detain the suspended CBN governor while shopping for evidence, directing it to charge the applicant to release him on administrative bail.
We expect him to be released on administrative bail today as we speak. We expect him to be released today in obedience of court order. I do not think that the president, who is a newly minted president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will like to start his administration with his organizations under him disobeying court orders.
Though the respondents were not at hand to react to the ruling, counsel for Emefiele, Joseph Daudu SAN, appealed to the DSS to comply with the court order. The suspended CBN governor is being accused of
Together, he's been accused of gun running. And they want to go and shop for evidence. You found gun in his house. You found the cartridges. In your investigation, they came up as that he had no license for them. So he's committed a crime for owning gun without license. Abi, is that a bailable offense? Is somebody in the Emefiole's caliber in today's Nigeria will commit a crime of, in what has happened, or in all the crimes committed that we believe he has committed or been part of, that the list of them is that he owns a gun without license. How does that solve or resolve the monumental destruction they brought upon Nigeria? And what evidence are they looking for again? You have the gun, you have the cartridges. Your investigation said they are not licensed, so he's committed a crime. So what evidence again are you looking for? What happened to all the trillions of naira and billions of dollars? This is a guy. Let me give you one example of this economic saboteur, right? Economic sabotage that this saboteur was, is, or was, or still is anyway, because it's not punished. Dangote, Nigeria, under this guy, under Bokwari, through the central bank that this guy controls, right? They released over $11 billion. Are you sure about me? $11 billion more than 9 trillion naira for refurbishment of refineries in Nigeria. Okay? You know now, where are the refineries? This Emefiole. But you know, on that same note, this guy, secretly, Nigeria didn't have a clue. They made an arrangement with Dangote to use Nigeria as a collateral to get money for Dangote to build the refinery. Refinery that is not completed. It's not even up to 50% See, I said this before. A lot of you, they have commission. Would you me that? I no be wait till the call. I no be seer, be wait till the call or prophet or anything. No. Dangote refinery is not even up to 50% completed. Kerosene could refine. You do hear me? Kerosene, it cannot refine. But anyway, this guy cooked up behind Nigerians when Nigeria was facing serious economic doom. They made arrangements with Dangote to use Nigeria. They used the entire Nigeria to borrow money. And we didn't know. They said Dangote from about 10 or so billion naira, $billion, that this central bank under this Emefiole stood as guarantor for. Dangote never produced one pure water from that refinery. Sure you get, This Emefiole came out and said Dangote has paid back 70% of the loan. Yeah? How? He never even started the business. Person whenever this unboot slaves everywhere. They said Dangote has other businesses that could have used that money, profit from those businesses to pay back. Because you know, petrol business, Dangote refinery will make so much money. That Dangote is rich. That's why he paid back over $7 billion. We didn't know when they borrowed him the money. On that same note, they are telling people, they say, even in that same Dangote refinery in Nigeria, on behalf of Nigeria, they have borrowed money, over $3 billion. They have used that to invest in Dangote refinery on behalf of Nigeria. Scam you, this Emefiole. Now, they did all those shady deals. Nobody knew about it. Until when Bokwari, they needed something to make Bokwari look good. They started paving the way, painting some places, making everywhere look like somewhere they have put some installation, make them look like, this place looks like refinery. This place last song, people are buying shares. Nobody knows who is buying the shares, okay? But the bottom line is this. The deal was more or less like, you see the way you go to a bank, GT Banky, Abi you go to, what's the name of the Fidelity Bank, all those banks in Nigeria, and you go there and open personal business accounts, or, personal accounts or business accounts. Abi, Dangote, under this Olori Brukuso that plunged you into this everlasting poverty, Dangote opened his own personal account with the Central Bank of Nigeria. And as a banker there, it was more or less like he has the spare key to the vault of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Pretty cool. Dangote, whenever Emefiole want to write all of his John Dice economic policies, that Bokwari will stamp, they will have to sit, Dangote down and Dangote's representatives to review the policy. Which of them is going to affect him? Oh yeah, remove that one, replace it with this one. Oh yeah, remove that one, replace it with this. So for 8 years, ladies and gentlemen, they used Nigeria to borrow money, gave it to Dangote to build a refinery that is not completed though. Before 50% completed or less than 50%. But before any production, the refinery don't pay 70%. What happened to the remaining money? The remaining money is an investment. Who is the person? Who is the investor? Nigerians, on behalf of Nigerians. How much? So they shall package all the lies. Today, before they left, they decided to give the same Dangote refinery the single license to import fuel into Nigeria. NNPC, in charge of Nigeria crude oil under these criminals, NNPC that failed to remit shishi. There was a time that more than 9 months, NNPC in Nigeria remitted $0 from the country that was producing over 1.3 million million barrels of crude oil every day under this Emefiole. So when they finally finished the whole thing, they sold NNPC. Who are the owners of NNPC today? They say, no, NNPC is no longer NNPC. It has now become NNPLC. Who are the owners? The owners of NNPLC, they have invested over $3 billion in Dangote refinery. Shetiri scam. Can you see the scam now? You can re-explain it for you can re-explain. Dangote, private businessman, in one build refinery. He no get money. Nigeria, a country that was supposed to be a free market and all that, the central bank of that Nigeria decided to stand as surety for Dangote to go and borrow all God knows how much, but over $11 billion. Now, this money Dangote didn't have, but Central Bank of Nigeria stood surety for him. Nigerians didn't know that that deal happened. The person that made the process is they are between Dangote, NNPC, Central Bank of Nigeria, and Buhari and their family members who are privy to the deal. True life story, real story. Sure you get. Now, when Dangote couldn't deliver refinery to help them break the fuel price in Nigeria, okay, what did they do? They announced that Dangote that they gave, they stood shorty for over $10 billion loan, he has paid back 70% of the money, even before the completion of the refinery. Show and follow, Now, not just that, you see the NNPC that represented Nigeria in that deal as the oil field. So that same NNPC now turn the remaining money, they call it investing in Dangote refinery. And that investment is on behalf of all of you, Nigerians. So that when Dangote refinery start working, you will know that as Nigerians, on your behalf, Nigeria is making money from Dangote refinery. That's what they sold you. 6 months before the end of their government, they said, no, we are selling off some of government properties, government organizations that are not making profit. So they sold NNPC, the national oil carrier of Nigeria, that invested the money in NNPC, the one they used their name for the loaned money as an investment, that turned loan to an investment. Now, suddenly that NNPC no longer exists anymore. There is no more NNPC. What you have now is NNPLC. They have sold NNPC. You see the confusion? Now, those who bought NNPC, NNPC, we don't know them. But the owners who bought NNPC, they have over $3 billion, okay, investment in Dangote. The money that was supposed to be the investment of Nigerians in Dangote, that was it, right? It's no longer for Nigerians. It is now those who are the owners of NNPSC that will begin to take those profits according to that arrangement, all right? And when you begin to look at them, you begin to see all the names of the criminals. You see, Emefiole, right? Now, today, they did the deal so much that what Nigeria couldn't do, they gave it to Dangote. Economic saboteur. Now, Nigeria is in total debt of over $120 billion. And guess what? You will think, that's not a big money, by the way. The money they have stolen from Nigeria in that same period that the debt of Nigeria skyrocketed, is more than, let me say, it's like ×5 of that. I'm saying over 600 billion US dollars worth of resources have been stolen from Nigeria in the last 8 years, especially under these criminals. I'll give you instances too. Nigeria is in debt of 120 billion. Nigeria can pay that debt in months. Like, no joke. If Nigeria is not being ruled by criminals, I'm serious, right? Everywhere you go now, Nigeria is like a dump site where people just scavenge. Those who are scavenging are not scavenging for debt or any waste or anything. They are scavenging for mineral resources. The Nigerian authority, those who are in charge, are more interested in taking bribes than protecting those for the sake of their people. No. So in 8 years, they plunged Nigeria. You see, for 7 years on record, the oil thieves in Nigeria under this Emefiole and that Bokwari and his gang, they were stealing over 700,000 barrels of crude oil every day for 7 years. On record, though, one of the vessels stealing that, they came out and said one of the vessels that has been doing this has been doing it for 12 years, and he had the capacity of 800,000 barrels. Now, Bokwari that supervised all of that, they say he's strolling in Daura, he's resting, he's this and that. Emefiole, that also kind of kept some few things for himself when he was allowing all of them to pilfer and do all of what they have done. So he's going to be the sacrificial lamb, but his own sacrificial lamb is also going to have some little protection, right? Like, you know, when you join gang, okay? And in that gang, one of you committed murder, you know, sort of commits murder. And they look at one of you and say, you know, you have never had any criminal record. So what we'll do is that you have to go to jail. You will say you are the one who did it. So you go to jail and spend like 20 years. Or we'll take care of your family, we do all of that and this and that. But you just have to sacrifice yourself. That's exactly what I think the deal was with Emefiole. Right? And the smoke screen, just to make you think, Kolu was actually like, is that even possible? Tinubu fighting corruption, is that even possible? Like, would you even believe that in your widest dream? Tinubu came in. The first thing they did was to remove the EFCC chairman. That boy there, right? They removed him. That one was a thief too. Correct thief, gidi. The guy, they said the guy spent over 300,000 US dollars just to show that is the most successful Fulani boy in his entire lineage. He picked everybody from his family, his father, his father's wives, his own mom, his own wives, the children, his own cousins, stepbrothers and sisters, nephew, everybody. This guy packed everybody, put them inside one massive private jet, and he took all of them to Mecca. That all of you, my family, you will go to Hajj this year and you become Alaja. He did it. EFCC chairman. One of the compromise they have on him, right? But removing him is not because they wanted to. No. Kolu. They removed him. Okay? And they started clearing the house. Everything that is inside the ICPC, everything inside the code of conduct, everything inside the EFCC. They remove everything that has to do with Tinubu or anything that is associated with Tinubu. They deny it, though. I don't believe them. I don't know if you do. But look at this guy reacting to this Emefiole's detention. He's a lawyer, kind of crackling as well, right?
Be that as it may, DSS, upon searching Emefiole's house, found only 300,000 naira in his house. Does it mean that Emefiole, from his legitimate entitled earnings, cannot have 300,000 naira in his house? And a license for pump action. That is the only thing they found in his house. Any other thing they come up tomorrow that they found in Emefiole's house is pure falsehood. The only two things they found in Emefiole's house is 300,000 naira cash and a license for pump action gun. And it took them almost more than 1 month, and until the court intervened yesterday for them to go and file a charge, which confirmed the entire story, the entire saga, and as pronounced by Honorable Justice M.A. Hassan, whatever they purport to file are trumped up terrorism allegations. They are falsehood ab initio, and they will remain so.
People should come out and help me. This police just straight bullets.
Another part of our story tonight, okay? But like I said, it's a joke, isn't it? More or less like a joke. Unfortunately, the people they are playing the script and are acting the script for, I don't know how many people actually believe them in a way, okay? But that's my part. I told you the written address, Tinubu's written address, in kind of a closing his defense against Peter Obi's petition, okay, is out. I'm not going to be reading through everything, but there are some key things they said there that I actually want to let you see, like in parts, for the next 15 minutes. Then we're going to take it on from there. Now, if you take a look at your screen, okay, let's use my own kind of illustration, all right? This is the copy of Tinubu's closing written address, okay? And it contains response, closures, citations, and a few things that makes it look like these guys don't actually believe that the court is going to do the right thing. Maybe I should put it that way. Like there is no show. The document actually shows that they are believing that the proof that the election was rigged is not on them to prove or not. It is on Peter Obi and his people. Okay? Now, don't let me waste your time. Let's use style to pick them few from the, you know what I mean? So these are the people, Wale Olanipekun, you know, the lawyers, Olujimi Akin Olujimi, Yusuf Ali, Emmanuel Lukala, and the rest of them, yeah? So this is the written address that they are going to read to the court, possibly on Monday, when the tribunal be convened. Peter Obi and his own people are also going to write their own too, okay? But written address is going to be everything that happened during the trial, what the witnesses said, evidence presented, okay, arguments, and few other things, right? But let me read the preparatory notes, all right, for us. Sorry if this is going to probably sound kind of, you know, somehow to some of you. I want to implore you to read with me, okay? I can try and share the link for everyone there, right? So you can see that in this petition, Mr. Peter Obi is the first petitioner. Labour Party is the second petitioner. That's how they will address them. Where INEC is first respondent, I think. Bola Tinubu, second respondent. Shetima, third respondent. APC, fourth respondent, in that order. All right. So, according to this, which was submitted to the Courts of Appeal, the tribunal, the Presidential Petition Election Tribunal, yesterday, okay? Here says Tinubu, Peter Obi, you know, and preparatory note. They say, or introduction, let me go and read the introduction, because some of them are filled with, okay, preparatory, let's read that. The petition is in issue in this address is very novel in the sense that it is not a petition stricto sensu, familiar to our electoral jurisprudence, as the petitioners are not, this time around, complaining about election rigging, ballot box snatching, ballot box stuffing, violence, thuggery, vote buying, voters intimidation, disenfranchisement, interference by the military or the police, and such other electoral vices. The crux of their grouse this time around is that while the presidential election was peacefully conducted all over the country, as corroborated by their primary witness, and also I need to remind you that some of what is written here are pure sort of conjectures by this Olanipekun. Some are open lies. Sure, you get. Some are open deniers. And even in their own statement, they say things like, oh, Labour Party and Obi and their witnesses, they relied on hearsays. One sokwe, kind of, right? So they don't have any evidence that anything was wrong with the election. So this is them grandstanding like everything you have seen, they didn't happen. That all of those things you have heard or seen during the trial, the evidence and all of them, they didn't happen. They are just waste of time. So I need to warn you of that, okay? So that you don't begin to feel like, why is he saying that? Because this is what they are presenting to court. This is what they are going to read on Monday when the courts convene as written address against Peter Obi's petition, okay? Sorry, let me continue. So this is them, they said preparatory, okay? The crux of their, according to they said, the crux of their grouse this time around is that while the presidential election was peacefully conducted, okay, all over the country, and the results accurately recorded in the various form EC8As, some unidentified results were not uploaded electronically to the INEC election results viewing, which is IREV, portal. The other remote contention of these petitioners is that the second respondent did not score 25% or 1/4 of the votes recorded in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. While the petitioners have also alluded to the respondent's non-qualification without any facts known to law. Do you see that? Did you read that, right? They said Obi and his team didn't prove anything. That, you know what I mean? That has to do with any facts concerning the qualification of Tinubu. So introduction. So the second and the third respondent, which is Tinubu and Shettima, present this written address in their defense to the petition against their emergence as president and vice president, respectively, at the presidential election conducted on the 25th February 2023. So here is what they call the brief statement of facts. The respondents, which is Tinubu, so Tinubu and Shettima. I'll be using Tinubu and Shettima for respondents for easy communication, okay? So, brief statement of facts according to Olanipekun, said Tinubu and Shettima, who are members of the APC, participated in the presidential election conducted by INEC into office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the 25th of February 2023. At the end of a freely contested elections, they were declared winners and respectively returned as president and vice president, respectively, having polled a total vote of 8.7 million, to the next PDP, who polled 6.9 million, to the third respondent, to the petitioner, Peter Obi, who scored 6.1 million. So they said the second respondent, which is Tinubu, polled more than 25% of the total vote cast in 29 states of the Federation and the FCT. Do you see how they snuck that in there? Olanipeku's written address is telling the court that Tinubu scored 25% in 29 states and FCT Abuja. While the petitioners, Peter Obi, only secured 25% in 16 states. The FCT inclusive, right? So ironically, Peter Obi, who came a distant third in the election, is praying this honorable court to declare him as the winner. Peter Obi main grouse with the election was that the results were not electronically uploaded to the IREF, and according to them, the election should be voided on the claim that same was not conducted in compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act 2022. Further, the petitioners, or Peter Obi and Labour Party, queried the candidature of Tinubu on the ground, according to them, like they didn't present evidence. They said, according to them, that the third respondent, which is Shettima, who was the associate of Tinubu at the election, was not properly nominated, as according to them, he was at the point of his nomination a senatorial candidate of the INEC for Borono, of APC for Borono Central Senatorial District. Further, Peter Obi and Labour Party purported to challenge the qualification of Tinubu to contest the elections, embarking, as it were, on some fishing expedition. According to Olanipekun in this written address, Peter Obi and Labour Party, they are embarking on a fishing expedition. Give me a sec. So One sec. So it said on some fishing expeditions relating to some purported forfeiture proceedings in the forfeiture proceedings in the United States of America at the build-up of the elections. Tinubu, the second petitioner, Labour Party, had instituted an action at the Federal High Court, Abuja, against INEC. So I'm going to jump this part. Let's go to, because they are beginning to go into, all this. They said, exhibit A, this, exhibit this and that. Let me go to another part. So they said issues for determination, shorn of all irrelevancies. Give me a second. I'll make them bold so that I can see well. Right? One moment. Sorry. Good. So according to this part, they say issues for determination, shorn of all irrelevancies. In the opinion of the respondent, which is Tinubu, the issues that arise for determination in this petition at the end of trial are as follows. Having regard to relevant provision of the Constitution of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, salient this, and that. This is where they're going to be talking about, what do you call it? This one versus that one, Yaradua versus this. Upon combined reading, blah, 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 argument of issues. I'm going to have to share the link with you. I don't want to bore you with all these legal jargons and all of that, okay? I'm going to take you to the other part again, where they're like having their closing written, whatever, at the bottom of it. Give me a sec. Meanwhile, if you are still here with me, remember, you can still share this broadcast, okay? Please, if you haven't already, you can. So this is where they talk about their evidence, the witnesses and all of that, going on. And their argument is that Peter Obi is only talking about, what do you call it? He's only talking about the INEC. They said every day the election was fine, but INEC did not upload results. These are not what Peter Obi and his team actually asked for, okay? They were not only challenging where they got rigged, they were even challenging where they even got declared winners. All right. So sorry, they even took it to, like I said, I don't want to read all of this. It's like, it's gonna be so boring. I mean, I can give you the wrap up, but there's a part I actually want to sort of quote verbatim, like word for word in this. It is so watery. That's the point. It is so watery. Ladies and gentlemen, and you'll be like, no, these guys are not waiting. I don't think they have anything per se that they believe is going to save Tinubu. They are more interested in how the court is going to discover technicalities in this petition. Because you see, in this written address, there's a part where they quoted the Supreme Court, one of the Supreme Court justices, where in one of their judgments, okay, where they were like, that quote, I'm going to get there. When I get there, I'll show you. It's kind of down. It's 42 pages, so 42-page written address. So they were quoting this Supreme Court judge or justice. Now, what the Supreme Court justice said, may I read down for you, right? At this bottom, it said, okay, in fact, I don't have to, because it's like a long bad dash as well. But what he's saying, as you can see it on your screen, is that the Supreme Court was like, we cannot help you find evidence to win your case. It's like Peter Obi, according to this, what they have written, and all of these court cases and all of, all this tribunal evidence and all that too. So they said they only call just one witness because they don't want to waste the court's time. That the court should just throw the whole thing out. Okay? That Peter Obi and Labour Party, they came to court and they were asking the court to tell the INEC to give them evidence so that they can prove their case. That if they read the judgment, if they read the judgment of the Supreme Court, blah, 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 so time, I could even quote them, they say, if you read the court in Elias versus Omobare, they said Justice Udo Udoma opined thus, in quote, if there was ever any case completely starved of evidence, this is They put it in their written address so for the tribunal people to read. Oh. I mean, they will read it to them in the tribunal and say, remember this in 1982, my lord. The Supreme Court Justice Udo Udoma, in the case of Elias v. That is in the case of Elias versus Omobari. I think they used the legal term of Elias v. Omobari. So he now already said, if there was ever any case completely starved of evidence, this is certainly one. This case clearly cries to high heavens in vain to be fed with relevant and admissible evidence. The appellant woefully failed to realize that judges do not act like the oracles of Ife, which is often engaged in crystal gazing and thereafter would proclaim a new Oba in succession to a deceased Oba. Judges cannot perform miracles in the handling of civil claims and at least of all manufactured evidence for the purpose of assisting a plaintiff to win his case. So, off quote. So what they are saying is that Peter Obi and Labour Party, they did not present any evidence. So, and they shouldn't expect the judges to go and start looking for evidence for Peter Obi and Labour Party. So, my lord, there is no evidence. Okay? They are looking for evidence to prove that INEC rigged or this is the winner. This whole thing is waste of time, my lord. Let us dismiss the case. I rest my case. That is what Tinubu's lawyer, Tinubu Shetima lawyer, that's what they are going to read. I don't know what INEC lawyer will read, though. You know, say INEC lawyers have also called one witness, Abi. Tinubu called one witness. APC called one witness. Shetima called one witness. And here is the irony. I mean, here is the funny part, because it's funny. The witness for Tinubu, for APC, and for Shetima, now one person who claimed to be a lawyer, Okoyemi Bamidele. When Okoyemi Bamidele was giving his own evidence, as in when they were interrogating him, Okoyemi Bamidele that actually indicted Tinubu. So they are putting it in that document, that written document, that even that one that they said Tinubu got convicted or forfeited money in America, my lord, it's all, no matter, my lord. That was years ago. Nigeria law says after 10 years, even if you keep a sin, once you don't serve your time, you can become president. They put it in that petition. I'll go see that part. I'll show you. You know? So what they practically was saying is that, where is it? Right. Practically, what they're saying is that all this evidence, they don't really matter, my lord. Okay? Because the bottom line is that, my lord, they need to show the evidence. And I don't think they have. We don't see anything. In fact, this whole thing is, just throw it out. I'm going to go show you. Get one part they were referring to that. Oh. See. I think is the conclusion. They said, based on the arguments and submission contained in this address, empty nonsense they wrote here, right? We urge this honorable court to dismiss this petition as totally lacking in merit, substance, and bona fide. It has been glaringly shown and demonstrated by the presentation of the petition itself and the evidence presented by the petitioners, including the evidence of petitioners' witness 12, that the petition itself is not only frivolous, but almost amount to a crass abuse of the process of court. In conclusion, this address in concluding this address, rather, may we draw your lordship attention to the memorable pronouncement of the Supreme Court in Elias v. Omobari, which I told you earlier. So it's like, there is no evidence of anything, my lord. It's just hearsay, no exhibit, no nothing. Okay? And this has made so many obedient, so like they are so raging. Do you want me to explain that, A lot of them can sit through the ridiculousness, the joke, and they are boiling. Here you get. They are seeing the, the sort of the mockery of this same judicial process. And they want to see that, what the judiciary go do, go. I have told you, they are going to surprise you. Those of you who are expecting them to follow evidence. Although, like I said, I'm going to get you the copy of that of Peter Obi. All right? I'm going to get the copy for you. Because what they do is, I think they are going to go first. Then Peter Obi and his lawyers will go next. So Peter Obi's lawyers will go next. Or Labour Party. So once I have the copy of their own, and while they also word and phrase theirs, I'll bring that back to you here. But disobedience was so kind of raging, like, who made these people senior advocate of Nigeria? Your law, the law that is meant to conduct your election, you decided to push it aside and say it doesn't really matter anymore. What happened to your electoral law that said this is what you would do, this is what you would do? Then you changed that in the middle of the game, and you don't want to kind of explain that. Like, who does that? So everybody is seeing through how this is going to pan out. Me, I know how it go pan out. The only shock we they expect is to see a breaking news that says Tinubu disqualified. Peter Obi declared the true winner. And the whole country go shake like that. The whole world go shake. Everybody wait there everywhere. All Nigerians wait there everywhere. They go, they shake, say, oh, more, wala they come. And another time, everybody going to say, wala they come. You know what I mean? Like, this has never happened before. Oh my God, that's it going to be. We hope the Supreme Court is going to save them. Hope Supreme Court is going to, hope Supreme Court is going to, you know what I mean? What if the Supreme Court says yes, in court, I'm waiting go happen. This one never happened before. You know that feeling that you are, I want to see how that feels. That's the only shock I can see, but I'm not saying that. I mean, that's the only shock I will expect. So if they announce that they have said there's no evidence, throw them out. Because Olanipekun just told them, Olanipekun belonged to the League of Benchers in Nigeria. You know that kind of a secret court of lawyers in Nigeria. You don't know about them. Yeah. Nigeria is a crime scene. Make I tell you once again, okay? They have something called League of Benchers, Abi. Yeah, remind me. I don't know if I get it right, but I know they call them benchers, Abi. China League of Benchers, Abi. It is like the secret court of legal practitioners in Nigeria. Sure, you get. It's like, sort of partying with the big boys. Sure, you get. If you want promotion, if you want to meet judges, you know what I mean? Like, you meet all judges, you meet all the senior. If you want to become a senior advocate as well, sure you get. Once you know anybody within that space, your life could just stay smooth in Nigeria legal system. You could just be like, say, you'll be this Lincoln lawyer, sure you get, or devil's advocate. You know that one, Tell me, what do they call them? Life bench? No, she life benchers in it. And once you become part of that, you are going to be part of that for life. They have so much influence. They have influence. Some of them are not lawyers, some of them are not judges, they are just lawyers, Baba, they have influence over judges. Then they influence people to be judges. They have political connection, all of that. So if you know them and you are practicing law in Nigeria, your life go this smooth until you probably kind of clash with any bigger fish that belong to them. This Olanipekun, Wole Olanipekun is one of them. Were wiki, unyen some were wiki, or were tonyen some wiki, the reverse, is also a member. Wiki is so powerful, within their circle. And what makes him more powerful that time was because he was the governor of the second richest state in Nigeria, Rivers State at the time. And he was such a cheerful giver. He was blowing the money on them. And they love him. They respect him a lot within that circle, which also includes your Chief Justice of Nigeria. I mean, it's like a cult group, kind of. Sure, you get. So Olanipekun don't tell them. No evidence, throw them out. Obedient to tell you, they'll say, you don't know Dr. Levy. I believe Barrister Abi San Levy, the Obi's lawyer. That one, is like somebody where they say Kamoru. Kamoru and Olifi, Evander, Tyson, being called, those people which are the fight, they'll say 22 knockouts, they say 22 fights, 22 win. Out of the 22 win, 18 knockouts. Out of those win, 2 to automatic death. Something like that. Like they will be, reading you the profile of these people. They say 20 fight, 20 win. You get what I mean? Anyway, maybe you don't. Anyway. So the likes of Folani Pekwan and the rest of them, right? They are reminding them of Livy. So Livy never lost any tribunal case ever. I'm just hearing, they say whether he is defending or is challenging, he's never lost any election tribunal case ever. So you see now say, what best city by the word best. Now waiting everybody could come get, they will come use to dribble themselves. So you guess. I mean, you get that? So it's like that. So obedient always remind everybody. I say, he never lost any case. Even this one with the Oshun election. You see what in doing be a delicate lawyer, all of that. I say, Olanipekun is also persuaded say he go to speak in tongue to all the judges inside court. And you'll be wondering, like, are we discussing this case or something else? He always have that, so they don't jam themselves. So if any shock go day, the only thing we go shock will be say, they tell me say they don't arrest Tinubu for Kenya. That kind of thing. They say, the court says, because see, this has nothing to do with whether you like Tinubu or you don't like Tinubu. It is about what they represent and then what this actually means to you, to your family, to your future, to your life. And if I know what it means, if anybody can avert it for you, you may not know what they are doing for you. See them, every time they turn out, they dodge the bullets for not having Peter Obi and the rest. So we dodged the train, we dodged bullet, but they are under the roller coaster of this lost cause called Tinubu. You see the whole Nigeria right now. Shebi you dey see him. No be bullet you dodge you. You dodge bullet, you can't go jam train, moving train. See your life on that boy Tinubu. So if anybody will save you, you may not know what they have done for you, what they are doing for you. So may I take this moment to take you to the presser of the same Labour Party who said, somebody asked them, they said, the Labour Party governor in Abia State, Alex Otti, they said the guy put up Tinubu's frame in his office, and they kind of don't allow any government or any government building or any government business in Abia State to put up Tinubu's photo. Why? Well, the guy, Oshuntokun, the spokesperson for Labour Party said, well, I mean, the people of Abia State elected Alex Otti, okay? And he's their governor, legit. So Tinubu is battling with legitimacy of even being not everybody recognizes him as president. So yeah, if people say that, it's illegitimate. So until the court determines whether he's legitimate or not, until they can then say if they will recognize him as president. I don't know, say deeper past that too. I might not speak for Shuntoku. We'll go to that presser. Symphony brought this clip to us, and the credit goes to them.
Groups, as well as very credible and long-standing international and local stakeholders in the Nigeria democratic process, whose reports are an essential contribution towards strengthening Nigeria's democracy. We would like to point Nigerians at this stage to the fact that the EU Observer Group report is in tandem with the reports of other international and domestic observers, duly accredited by ANEC, and also in tandem with public opinion and the experience of the majority of Nigerian citizens who participated in or observed the 2023 general elections. At this juncture, there is no doubt that Nigerians and the international community expect the judiciary to critically examine the evidence, the law, and the processes of these flawed elections in arriving at a legally correct and overwhelmingly acknowledgeable verdict. We urge the people of Nigeria, youths, elders, voters, and all citizens to continue to follow the legal process patiently, keenly, and peacefully to final resolution. In conclusion, we commend the international community and civil society for their continued support in growing and consolidating our democracy. It is now only logical, bolstered by the final Observer Group reports, that the international community take immediate and appropriate punitive action against Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, Barrister Festus Okoye, and other top administrative and field staff of INEC, directly complicit in the desecration of the results. We also demand unequivocally the immediate dismissal from office and prosecution of Professor Yakubu, and the commencement of forensic financial investigation into the expenditure of budgeted disbursements and donors' funds received by INEC, not least of which is the 300 billion naira appropriated from the National Post, as well as other funds and materials received from international donor agencies. Once again, we thank you, the media, for your continued dedication in reporting this extended resolution, and Nigerians all over the world for their alertness and steadfastness. On February 25, 2023, we came out to draw the line and halt our country from the putrid domination of bad governance by voting for vision and for competence. A new Nigeria is indeed possible. Thank you for your time and patience.
Oshuntokun. Is that his name? Akin Oshuntokun. Very prominent name, kind of. So who has been very, very steadfast. And there are many, many, many people like that, that somehow, you probably don't get to pay attention to them. Those who actually make up the team of these obedient, old ones, young ones, and in their team and all that, who actually came together for this particular project, I would say, okay? And very, very kind of eloquent too. Detribalize, you would say, eh? I love that. Detribalize Yorubas. We are many, kind of like, But here is the part where they started asking Oshuntokun some questions, and it was like taking questions. I don't want you to be listening to them reading. Nah. So I brought you to the end part of the reading. Now, here is where they actually have having a chat. Watch. And if you haven't really liked this broadcast, do you mind? Please, you can do that now. Yeah? While you watch this.
Elections. The president we have today is still in quotes. The legitimacy is still far away from being established. So whatever he does in terms of administrative steps is within his own prerogative. I will leave the decision of the response of the Abia state government to handle what has been requested of him, if it is indeed extended to him. That's why it's government. We don't dictate to officials elected on our party. You will take that into consideration and respond appropriately. The only point I want to make is that going forward, every step taken by this administration should reflect, with this president, at least until cases are concluded, should reflect the reality of the economic situation of the country, especially as it affects the majority of Nigerian citizens. The Constitution of Nigeria allowed for nominations from 36 states. I do not think we should go beyond that in recognition of the stark economic hardship that is confronting our people. So also is the position of the CBN governor. It's also is constitutionally guaranteed a 5-year term. So that is why, I don't know the intentions of the president. That's why it cannot be removed, and why they call it suspension. The same attitude should be applied to the INEC. The INEC has done enough damage that merits, being sanctioned accordingly. Ideally, anybody who has committed the kind of gross abuse of office that INEC has committed should resign. But we are in Nigeria where, all things. So that of CBN and EFCC will remain a selective approach to justice. If INEC, whose wrongdoing actually has greater consequences, for the well-being of the nation. There is a point I would like to make, please listen very well. Now, from all the Observer group reports, what you will note, and even from Nigeria, among majority of Nigeria, is the severe condemnation of INEC in all facets of. Now, is it not contradictory to expect that an agency that does stands condemned will produce a honest result? I mean, there's something contradictory in saying that somebody is a thief, and then something is stolen and said, no, it's not him. He has stole the thing. So this is a big conundrum or contradiction for us to establish. If INEC is guilty as charged, that puts into contention an untenability of the results from such a compromised agency. The one was saying something about the IREC, the resident electoral commissioner in Lama State. You can see the efforts being made by the authorities in Abuja, quite an escapist manner, trying to say they want to discipline when they are the father of all the wrongdoings. There is nothing that the IREC direct man in Adamawa has done that this INEC in Abuja has not done 10 times worse. So, physician, heal thyself. You are pointing at the beam in somebody's eyes and forgetting the log, in your own eyes. So you see that, as I said, look, you can say we as parties, we as a party, we are partisan, right? So we have reservations and criticism. But what about objectively independent organizations, both in Nigeria and outside, coming to a consensus that this INEC is not credible? If the INEC is not credible, how can we expect results emanating from that same group to be credible? So this is the reason I think they've done enough damage, and at the very minimum, Chinaza was saying that if he has any shame, he will have resigned. But if the president has political will, there are ways of going around that. It can be suspended from office.
So that's Oshutoku talking. But it's like pushing it back to somebody who just benefited from the fraud. And you're asking him to probably suspend the person, his benefactor. I mean, nobody talk. You don't punish your benefactor now, you reward them. If Emefiole had played ball, maybe Emefiole will still continue to be your central bank governor, and it's going to be a luta continua. Sure, you get. Talking about a luta continua, this also brought to my attention the Nigerian students, the youth. We have seen the women. You remember, we were talking about this the other day, right? You see women, you see elder statesmen, you see alphas, bishops, all of them. They are taking turn to go and see Kolu. But when it was the turn of the youth, the people who are supposed to be the demography, facing the worst and the worst economic hardship under these corrupt criminals, when they met with Kolu, see greetings, aye. Coronavirus for your enemy. Corona. In Nigeria, down a few days ago,
Corona for its enemy. Corona. Prayer for its enemies.
The bill.
Corona for its enemy. Corona. Prayer for its enemies.
Future leaders. Nigeria future leaders. sitting with their ancestor, with the little Chris and then what do you call it, and Fanta, and some word of Naira notes. They sat there. Corona for his enemy. Corona, corona, corona. Make you say yeah for his enemy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The future leaders, when they start with the president of Nigeria, the joke is on you. The concluding part of Oshuntokun's presser, where they are not just asking for the sack or arrest of Mamudu or Mumudu Yakubu. This part.
Going around that, it can be suspended from office, just like what they have done to the CBN government. So it's all, the only thing required is political will to do the right thing. But being the beneficiary of my next mischief, I wouldn't put it. I don't expect that. But they have precedences, you know, if in truly they have been honest with Nigerians. You remember the late president, Umaru Yar'Adua, you know, that we quite openly acknowledge that, you know, INEC and the results that were declared, they lack credit, but they are not of. And so he went ahead to appoint, set up an election review committee under Justice Mohammed Ways, you know, to move Nigeria towards the objective of attaining credibility in election management. President Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, you know, did a similar thing. You know, so of course you will remember that he didn't even wait for the elections to be concluded before doing what they do in established advanced democracies, and that is to save the country from trauma, from bickering, by calling President Buhari to come and, you know. So, and of course at that time, you remember the conduct of these same APC people. They went so far as calling for the formation of a parallel government. So you can see the contrast in conduct, in the conduct of what we have today and what we have then. But more importantly, of course, is INEC. You know, one of the problems of Nigeria is impunity. People will do wrong things, commit grievous offenses without any sanction. If this INEC, the chairman are not sanctioned, what will be the disincentive of future chairman of INEC not to do the wrong thing? After all, nothing will happen to you.
More
You know, we are also looking for, but I think in this instance, on account of the magnitude of the responsibility that is put on their shoulders, that they will do the right thing. In terms of proving our own case, I think we have done it beyond reasonable doubt, you know, categorically, and of course, the PDP also has its own, you know, so there is sufficient, overwhelming evidence, you know, for us to expect justice. But you know, the INEC again, from the proceedings, it is ironical, tragically so. The crux of INEC's presentation so far that I witnessed was the argument against believing in beavers and iron. Their own argument that they want to smoke win is that the law permits them at one stage or the other to do things manually. So you then ask the question, so what was the purpose of the hundreds of billions, you know, expended on this technology if you had the same INEC that their own argument, the crux of their argument is malfunctioning of what they say, contrived malfunctioning. So, you know, so there are several aspects that this is a country in which people, majority of people hardly could feed themselves 3 times a day. And then you find an agency, public agency, being invested from money, from hundreds of billions, not to talk with what the international community donated, especially people like the European Union, also made billions of donations, and at the end of the day, they will say, go to court. And then when they get to court, the argument is that this is what the chairman and his public affairs commissioner, I'm sure you will have seen their video clips, where they were swearing heaven and earth that this will be the best election. The beavers and Arabs. Now, what they are arguing in the case, and their lawyers, is that the law permits INEC to us to do things manually. So, how do you go around that? It can be suspended from office, just like.
Better, because it's very much there. He's been in court. He's been to court many times during the old trial. But do you get that? So how do you trust that same agency, that government agency that violated their own law brazenly and shamelessly too, without any shame? Talking about agency violating their own thing or maybe acting lawlessly. It's not new to Nigeria. Okay, I'll show you somebody. To some of you were like, sorry, Maiyegun, who is that Olanipekun? Now this man, in one of the trial, or let me say during the this case, this guy, when he was defending Tinubu's Guinean passport and Guinean citizenship, this man, we put on this wig, is a senior advocate of nuisance like others, okay? But he came out and he said, the passport they are displaying is expired. So does that mean if your passport expires, your citizenship expires, eh? It was like a joke. It's a complete joke. But, he's doing his business. It's not like, it's not like a rookie. I'm talking about somebody who is grounded. He's made billions for himself in this course of 24 years that Nigeria is having this sham democracy. So he's making a lot of money for himself. He's written books. It's, you know what I mean? Like, but for the first time, the obedient are meeting him. And they're like, who is this person? How did he become a son? Leleko. And he's one of them. So talking about agency violating their own rules and acting lawlessly, shamelessly, something happened in Delta State. Very sad. All right. They said that NDLEA, they were looking for drug dealers. So they started what they call the drug raid. And when they entered the community full of children, families and all that, they didn't care. They started shooting indiscriminately. And it was pretty much like nobody was actually shooting at them. They were just shooting like scared wearies with guns. They're supposed to be the confident one or looking for drug dealers. So nobody was shooting at you. He started shooting everywhere. Stray bullet hit 2 brothers in their homes. And when they did that, a little boy and then his other bigger brother, when they discovered that they have killed, they thought they've killed 2 siblings in the same household, they didn't even offer any means of help. By saying, oh, we are so sorry. This is an accident. It was an error. Let's take the child. Let's rescue the child. No. The typical Nigerian government agency, they entered their vans. They ran away. The father of the victims picked up his car and he started chasing them. You will kill me. You just killed my sons. You just shot my sons. You just shot my little boy. You've killed my little boy. Please help me. People picked their numbers and eventually it worked. It's kind of traumatizing. Sorry that we have to replay that here. I'll try and stop it once you feel like, no, Maiyegun, remove it. It's not gory. It's just the experience. And as parents, I don't know how you will feel. I felt shaken watching this. Unfortunately, they lost a boy. The senior brother is still recuperating, fighting for his life in the hospital right now. These guys said they were looking for drug dealers. In this part of Delta State in Nigeria, they shot 2 members of a family and they ran away. See them.
People should come out and help me. This police straight bullets. They just did straight bullets. And I'm following them now.
Yesterday, 2 brothers. One, 2 years, 6 months. And the other one is 1 year, 4 months. Were shot yesterday. I don't know how it happened. I don't know. But yesterday, NDLEA came to Asaba to raid along one arm road by Swiss Spirit. And they started shooting gun. And the bullet pierced through the shop and touched the 2 boys. 2 brothers. 2 blood brothers. The father had to use they ran away. The father has to enter his vehicle and started tracing them, following them from Asaba to Ogwashuku, where they have their office in Ogwashuku. Now that boy now is dead. The senior one, the 2-year-old plus son now is dead in the mortuary right now in Asaba, FMC Asaba.
Look at them. They have killed me. Look at them. NDLEA have killed my son. They have killed my son with straight bullets in the shop. They have killed my son with straight bullets in the shop. NDLEA. They have killed my daughter in the shop. NDLEA, please. NDLEA have killed my daughter with straight bullets because they want to do an arrest within the neighborhood. They shoot bullets. He came to meet my daughter and my son in the shop. Please, people should help me. I'm following them now. I'm following them. God, oh, they should account for it. Hey, God, oh, No. I'm following them. I don't know where they are going to. And I
think I should take it off, all right? I mean, you get the message. In Nigeria, even when you are in the comfort of your own home, you can be shot and killed in there. And there will be no anything, I mean, like, they will just say, well, maybe it's just the will of God. Children, adults, nobody is actually safe. Unfortunately, they lost the boy. And I heard that the girl is recovering. She's actually a girl, not even like 2 boys. Not like 2 boys, like I said earlier, anyway, right? They're like a boy and a girl. Little kids. So they have arrested them. But just think about that. You're working for government. No empathy, no sympathy, no human feeling, no nothing. Just brute force, command, and all that. Because people are just mere statistics. They're just statistics. They are not real. And that's how they are treating you, unfortunately. Well, let's let's go forward. Like I said, that doesn't feel good. And I can't imagine if I'm sitting down here right now and then I just hear pa, and something has happened to any of my kids while they are sleeping or while they are playing in the compound. Imagine that trauma and all that. I don't get it. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take you to the next chat. This one is kind of brief, okay? This one is like an announcement. Then we'll go to the next one again. And I'm thinking maybe I'll take calls, all right? But we'll see to that. We've been talking about, Labour Party, Tinubu, the tribunal, and the rest. I think I have a copy of where the man himself had a chance of probably just, being in public and speaking at length as well. I'm talking about Toby himself, all right? So I want to use that as an intermedia, where have you now, before we go towards the, phone calls and all that, okay? Well, we're not taking calls yet. Obi?
Now, His Excellency Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, the people's president, distinguished family man, presidential candidate of Labour Party, highly intelligent and lover of children. Please, a big round of applause as he's come off stage for the keynote address.
And of course the students. But let me start by recognizing Your Royal Majesty, the teachers. I thank you. We remain grateful for what you're doing. Do not be discouraged because people don't regard you. Know that what you are doing is noble. It is important for the society. And you are a very important asset for the society. I know at times you feel unappreciated, but don't worry. We will appreciate you. We will make sure that things happen. I was visiting schools as governor, people think. Because you mold the character. We can't have a society unless we have people with the right character. We can't have a society unless we have people with the right behavior. We can't have the people unless we have people with the right discipline and everything. Look at what the young girls have said here. Yes, we have light today by Faraday. Because he had a basic education, which is very important. Yes, we're able to get other things that we enjoy today because people had basic education. And young Mr. Emefiole, I will even tell you more. It is that basic education that made us drive car today. Engineer Benz was able to go through education. Was able to go through education. And I attended a polytechnic school. And today we have car and we can drive around. So was other discoveries. Women today celebrate their Gucci design and everything because we have somebody who had basic education and went to work in a Savoy hotel in the UK, Garcia Gucci, and saw that people were not using the leather bags, were not strong enough, and went back to his native Italy to do that because he had basic education. We are celebrating the world of telephone, world of mobile phone, the world of ICT today, because of so many other young people that were educated. From Steve Jobs, somebody who was picked in a care home, but he had a basic education. Same Bill Gates, somebody who was supposed to be a school dropout, but for the education, for the disciplines, they learned in the basic education. So, young people that are graduating, I thank you and congratulate you. As you move on to the next stage, know that we want you to live in a different Nigeria. We want you to be part of Nigeria where people who have Japa today will come back to. Because we want them to come back. And they will come back when you build a new Nigeria. They will be part of that asset. So congrats as you go on. Please know that the only certificate, the only capital, the only thing you need is good education, which will mold a good character, remain a good person, remain a disciplined person, remain truthful, always do the right things. It is easy to say that if you do the wrong thing, you get where. It's easy to say that only bad people succeed in Nigeria. But please, do not be part of them. That is what we are trying to change. Remain with your classmates, because I can tell you, in the next Nigeria, you will not be a leader unless you've attended a school, unless people know your classmates, unless you have good certificates, We want to change it. So people will say, I want to pay SETA, and they will say, yes, he was in class with this person, this person, this person, and he will be celebrated. And you will bring your certificate, nobody will doubt it. Because you want to pay SETA. We want you to go to universities. And parents, thank you for sending your children to this school. Thank you for being there. It is not easy to educate children today. It is a difficult thing. Often a time, your choice between how to feed and how to pay even the little school fees is difficult. Especially in a difficult place now where nobody knows who is poor and who is rich. I was telling my people that we need to go and find how they roll for this 8,000, because we have names of people that will add there. Because even those that are paid like teachers, they need that 8,000 to augment, because everybody is not poor in Nigeria. But I assure you, parents, your investment is not in vain. Investment in education is the most valuable investment you can do. It might look as if you're doing the wrong thing, but your children will grow to be great people, especially if they go to good school. Nigeria will be great. Nigeria will eventually become a country of destination, a country where people want to go and live. I assure you that the sacrifices of all of you will not be in vain. Let us sacrifice today. We have no other country except this one. And only us can build it by our sacrifice.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
what
shall I say? Thank you,
At least when they talk and they say Nigeria will be great. One day I say amen to you for you. But also be there, just kind of give you something that you can possibly clearly criticize. He's speaking out loud and clear. You can pick his word. You can criticize him and say, oh, he said something there. I don't agree. No, he shouldn't say, But when Kolu speak, now the language of the gods, you need to learn how to understand when Kolu is talking. You have to use your own inner auto rearrange. I'm trying to make a word out of that. Trying to make a sentence that will describe what I'm trying to say, right? I don't know how those of you who kind of listen to Kolu, you can't even criticize him. Like, you can't even criticize anything other than you just keep asking questions that you will never get answered. He speaks like that in Bulaba language that you will have to use other ideas to kind of understand what he's saying. But this one will speak clearly, and you can easily just pick his word and fire him. Why did he say best school? Why did he not send his own Kinekon? Why did he, that stuff, right? You can pick it. So I thought you needed that break, don't you? At least it's been a while that you've been always kind of angry and raging and saying, this one again. But talking about Kolu, Benga Daniel, who is likely going to be a minister under Kolu, is a senator already, by the way, all right? So if he's appointed as minister, he will need to leave the Senate and go and join Kolu. On his own, he said, no, we are going to monitor him and I'm going to make sure that if he does anything wrong, we are going to correct him. But remember, when they said they were calling on the old governors, they are back. 10 of them don't die. Let me tell you this. In 1999, between 1999 and 2007, so Nigeria had about 40, I think it was 46 or so total governors. Some didn't make it second term. Sure you get. So, and some made it their second term anyway. So out of 46 or 48 governors produced in Nigeria between 1999 and 2007. 10 of them don't die. 18 of them have been jailed. All right? No, I think, no, not 18. I think 8 of them jailed. 10 of them still on trial. And then the leftover, there no be anything. So Tinubu call all of them together and they call it the reunion party of Team Governor 1999 to 2007. So Benga Daniel was supposed to be one of them. Here is what he had to say about Kolu. I know it's going to be telling you to give him time. Well, I know. I've seen it. Or just watch it. Okay? I'll stop it when you don't like it. Benga Daniel. I like to call him Benga Bewiri Daniel. He knows me very well, by the way. Just so you know. Sure you get it. He's now a senator. He could use any link and begin to look for. He once said that to teach me a lesson. To teach that boy a lesson. Maybe I should call one of the clinic to pick him up on Monday. Sir, pick him up on Monday. Why? He's not living in Nigeria. He lives in the UK. So if you really want to do anything, we'll have to go and sue him in the UK. So they screenshotted that and sent that to me. And they said that, well, Daniel Tinwell, but that time he wasn't governor. He was battling with Samosun. They were taking everything from him and all of that. He was battling that he was almost done for. Then he settled somehow some make arrangement with Dubious Dapo. So Dubious Dapo, with that arrangement, yeah, they gave him the ticket and he's a senator now. He's one of the senators in Abuja now. So now he's in government. He's close to Kolu. If he want to arrest Maiyegun now, this is the best time. If he wants to sue me, this is the best time. He's back in public. He's representing me. Can you believe that? Benga Bewiri Daniel is representing me in that Nigeria Senate. He's representing the Ijebus, the entire Ijebu. Can you believe that? Ijebu, Remo is representing all of us there. So definitely, I got to mention a name soon, very much. And if anybody is looking for me, it's going to be Benga Bewiri Daniel. Or it will just let me be like that boy, I'm mad. I don't want any trouble with him. But here is what you have to say when it comes to Tinubu. We are going to monitor him. If he should do anyhow, I'm going to be one of those that will never spare him. Hear him out.
No motive. Excuse me. It's just as simple as I have become a senator. And I know that as it were, just set it up, sorry. As it were, we are receiving remuneration. And I wasn't so sure if it is right because the Senate is a full-time employment, as it were. And I thought that I needed to check whether it was right. My mind tells me it's not right because I do 2 jobs, or whichever we want to look at it. And so I just thought I should just notify the governor, to suspend the payment probably until after I finish at the Senate. It wasn't meant to be anything extraordinary at all, And then the thing just, in fact, I had written letters since the 14th, and then we got the acknowledgement copy. And I think it was during that period that the thing now went haywire a few days ago. There was no motive. I think what shocked the people was maybe the amount, because people thought that, governors are taking, a lot of money. I don't know of other locations, but that happens to be what we were taking. And there were also stories that most governors every year they receive furniture, they get new vehicles, and so on and so forth. We have not been that lucky in Ogun State, if you let me put it this way. And I said in the letter that since 2011 when I left, my car has not been changed. I've not received anything for furniture. I look after my medical. I'm just on my own, and that's all that comes. Simple as that. On the one hand, we install somebody as a president and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic. And on one hand, that person who have a secret mandate that we have given a mandate to, we don't trust him to do right. So we think that when he's going like this, the legislation should go like that because they're independent. That is negative independence. If people belong to the same party, that president or who is holding the executive wants to build the legacy. The legacy he wants to build is to make his mark in a positive way that the people of this country will be happy that once upon a time we had this president who did right for us. That is his state of mind. I do not see how the state of mind of the legislature should be different from that. The legislature is also there that, okay, I want to make a mark. I want to help my people. So the objective of the legislature and the objective to a large extent is coterminous, especially when they're in the same party. So there's no point in legislature want to prove to say that, yeah, I'm independent, so when they let you go like this, then I go like this. What is the objective? Where do we go from here? People have condemned, they said the night legislature was a rubber stamp legislature, and I said, okay, let's compare that one and the one that was not before it, that was not rubber stamp. Which one achieved more? Which one got more bills assented to by the executive? Is it not under that night legislature that the petroleum industry bill that has been on for years was signed into law?
Debt profile also increased.
Well, fine, debt profile might increase. Who do you want to blame? If there is a profile, an equal debt profile, we can sit down and analyze it. Yes, you can say it is the legislature, you can say it is the executive, whatever the case may be. What do you want the executive to do if the legislature does not approve what they want, if they want to borrow money, for instance? Then you and I suffer, the project suffers, salaries don't get paid, things happen. At the end of the day, you're going to. So those are fundamental issues that has to be tackled fundamentally. It's not a question of saying because executive wants it, the legislature disagree, the legislature is right. No. That's not the way. And if you try to look at some of these challenges holistically, you come to discover that it is in the overall interest of the country that.
Just to cut long story short, we are going to be rubber stamp as well. Is it that man? Na baba oluri buruku of anything new. Like, you know, one thing is that now one kind guy that came into Ogun State gave, and you know what I mean, like the people that have been so impoverished, right? And he came to Ogun State, right? And he round everybody all together like this. And he brought out a very sharp knife, okay? And he started shaving our heads. He shaved every goddamn soul in that state's head. When he finished, those who proved stubborn, they saw his other side. He is a complete rogue, like a full package criminal. I don't want to go fully into Bengagbe with Daniel. Sure you get. But he had this, right? He was one of the first set of people who kind of understood the power of media, all right? And then when we talk about power of media, yeah, there are a lot of people, other people embarked on. This guy stole 51 billion from my state, Ogun State. 51 billion naira. Like, immediately he left. Amosun, his successor, was feasting on him. Baba, this guy sold his state properties as scraps. You know what I mean? They have this, they call the Gateway Hotels. It's like a franchise built by the state government with the state money for years now. And they are like this 5-star, like continental, intercontinental hotel, kind of like that, you know, 5-star. This guy, you know what he did? He first used the state money to fix it, and he sold it as scraps to his friends when he was leaving. Like, just like gifts and all that. And the party could buy for himself. You know what he did? He changed them to what they call the continental, or being intercontinental, something. Land in Ogun State. Ha, Benga. When it comes to, it was one of those, it was actually the one who mapped out the land in Ogun State, and he made them choice lands that he actually gave to his own friends. So when Amosun came, he was feasting on him. This guy was so corrupt, so roguish, that he was building what could have been the tallest hotel in Abeokuta, the state capital, just next to the state secretariat, the government secretariat in Abeokuta. When Amosu came, he was taking things from him like it was like they'd almost nearly run him out. You see, the Senate that he's in right now, is like a compensation, like just get something to kind of recover yourself back. His wife had to relocate permanently to the UK. They call his wife Yeye, the former first lady of Ogun State. She had to like leave completely for some time. You know, she's a beauty hairdresser in Maryland before they became, they were rich. Oh, I'm not saying they are not, they are like rich, comfortable through some of their connections before now, right? But this guy duped my state, duped all the states, all the local government areas. This guy was the one who coerced the local governments in my state, Ogun State. He coerced them to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA. You know what is in that NDA? They will hand over all their allocation to him every month. And then he will then come to their local government to come and fix if they need anything. They should come and ask him. He started it. By then, he was giving them, he would take the money, give them some percentage. When Amosun came, that will not give them anything at all. And nobody dare complain. He set the state, Ogun State, to the path of this fraud of substandard projects, inflated projects, non-existing projects, using the state as a collateral for money here and there that will never be used for them. I mean, when people started talking, this guy ran mad. He sent all his courtiers after anybody. It was hell in Ogun State, and I actually lived through that, just so you know. But when they ran him out, he was almost broke. Very broke. And it took him in the wilderness for years. At a point, he almost became like a diaper carrier for Tinubu. I'm telling you a true life story. So the Dakwabiodun had to make arrangements and say, okay, yeah, they should leave it for him. Buruji Kashamu, when he was, it's a long story. Now he's a senator. See him talking about how much they were giving him. The money, because he wrote a letter and he said they shouldn't pay him the pension anymore. Now that he's a senator. So he rejected he said the pension they are paying him was about 650,000 naira as a former governor, which is lying. Okay? Or maybe not, because his successor was Amosun. That one would never pay him a dime. Sure you get. Then Dakpo came there, possibly has actually given him all the money. So this guy came out and he wrote a letter and he said he's now forfeiting 650,000 naira salary of his pension, because he's now a senator. Who in they deceive? Look at him, old man. He's getting older now. He's got grown-up kids, that he's probably raised with all this blood money and all that. Seriously, contaminated money, right? So he rejected 650,000 naira for 30 million naira a month. Make that make sense? So that's what popped up in that interview, and they said they were going to be the rubber stamp for Tinubu anyway. It's not going to be new. Sure you get. Like he rejected 650,000 naira pension for 30 million naira every month. If not you, go pretend say how much is 650,000 compared to 30 million as a senator, and possibly more than 100 or 200 million naira almost every month if he can play his card very well. What if he becomes a minister too? Now he can have actually signed a proper check of money or continue to pad what they are padding. Talking about the senators. You hear that when Kolu put together his 500 billion naira palliative, the senators removed 70 billion. They wanted 70 billion. They needed more. In fact, talking about padding. They said that the request of Tinubu for 500 billion and other things they added actually gave the Nigerian senators the Nigerian House of Rep members and the National Assembly, he gave them a whooping 200 billion. The 70 billion you heard, that one are just peripheral. You know what I mean? Like surface, deep down. They actually dug their dirty hands into your cookie jar, and all their face everywhere is kind of like, what I mean? Right now, they need 40 billion naira bulletproof cars. No, sorry, not bulletproof cars. 40 billion naira to buy cars for all of them. And the leadership of the National Assembly, they need at least 21 billion of that 40 billion to buy bulletproof cars for the leadership of the National Assembly after collecting that 70 billion, which guarantees every person using their own number to divide the money, every National Assembly member will walk away from 70 billion they collected. I mean, they earmarked for themselves. So each of them will walk away with 124 million naira or 125 million naira approximately from that money. Now they need money for cars, and that will cost you 40 billion. The rest of you will need to brace up. Okay? I mean, you don't need any luxury for now. The country is hard. The government is working hard to make sure that you can be able to feed your family and live normally. Okay? So please, you should learn how to live through this hardship. Okay? You don't need any luxury. You don't need too much driving or driving your car. You need to learn austerity measure. They're asking you to, not me, because I know the Nigeria, and I would never be part of that, by the way, except that I'm actually not spared from those who are going to be victims of all of this too. Directly and indirectly, all of us are sharing it, aren't we? I've spoken for 2 hours. That's a stretch. So I'll take calls, just maybe 1, 2, 3 calls. And if I can't take more, I'll just tell you good night. I know the stress these days again, or share you get. My system says, you know what, just go and sleep. And that's me. I'm just going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'll see you some other time. If you don't mind, you know what I mean, like that. But yeah, we'll do same tonight. So if you are still here before you leave, you can like the broadcast, okay? Still share it, subscribe to my channel. Facebook will never let me reach my audience. I've come to accept that. And I'm working around on how to close that MaiyegunsDiary Politico on Facebook. But it won't give me the option of deactivating it. I'm still going to keep looking. Then I will build the real MaiyegunsDiary Politico on Facebook, which can possibly reach the better audience or all my audience. In 2 years, I can do that. But for now, those who are able to see me or watch on Facebook, try and share it, okay, if he allows you. Some of you can't even comment. Some of you can't like. You can't share. That's how horrible Facebook is. But I'm going to be back. I'm going to make another tea, then I'll take calls. Don't go anywhere. Have a caller on the line. Can you hear me? Hello there.
Of course. Mr. Maiyegun, good evening.
Good evening to you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very fine. Thank you. I'm back today.
And
is that
Ifeanyi?
Yes, it's me.
Yes, I got it. Ifeanyi, my guy. And from Onitsha, is there?
Yeah, I'm from Enugu State, but I don't live in Nigeria. I'm currently in Dakar.
So you just choose to, okay, I like that then. I'll say, go ahead, Baba.
No,
How you doing?
I have, let me be quick. I'm very fine, thank you. I stopped living in Nigeria since 2011, so I've always found a way around. So I don't like staying in Nigeria.
You don't like that, so you rather say Ifeanyi from DC or Ifeanyi from where?
From Enugu State. It's better for me like that.
So you leave it at Enugu. Okay, stick to that.
Yes.
How you doing, Baba?
I am very good. I'm very good. I'm going to talk more about human factors today and then how it can change the whole place.
Please.
I listened to Peter Obi talk on the interview, and on this, I think he went to one school to make that speech, right?
Yeah,
a graduation.
Graduation ceremony, I think. Yeah.
Maiyegun, the last time I listened to a Nigerian president talk for any reason was when Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria. I never listened to Buhari. I have never listened to Buhari say anything. I can't bother myself listening to Tinubu. I have no issue there. I can't bother myself going to listen to Tinubu. Tinubu doesn't know. I can't talk. He cannot. The sentence will be disjointed, so I wouldn't even listen. But the most critical thing in any economy is intangible assets. That's what grows GDP. If you listen to Peter Obi's speech to those school children, if I was a student listening to that man, I would have hope. That's what drives the economy. If Tinubu wins the election today, the whole chaotic environment is not going to change it overnight. But people will start getting hope, because when you start listening to the leaders say the nice things, you start getting some hope. That's an intangible asset.
That's right.
Because when the leaders start saying, we are going to fix this, and then you see his body language trying to fix that. So you have to cue into it. That's how people grow. That's how the economy grows. So when you listen to people talk, it's so presidential, it's so refreshing. Unfortunately,
that part of it being refreshing is that we know we've never listened to anybody. You know what I mean? Go on.
Yes, if that man is made, assuming the Supreme Court does the court does the right thing, and I'm not saying they're going to do it. So, but if they do the right thing, imagine the day that kind of announcement will be made after the first, because somebody like you said, immediately the announcement is made, everybody will be like, "What's going on? What's going to happen next?"
The Supreme Court going to uphold it, or Supreme Court go stop them, or that kind of tension will deal, no doubt.
Yes.
And that kind of shock, I won't see. There's not going to be any shock if after all this evidence and all of this thing we have seen, the court comes out and say there's no enough evidence. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm just going to be like, don't do more.
Because that one is the normal thing.
Sure, you get.
What will be unnormal is if they say everybody should go home, Peter Obi has won. It's because we won't know what to do.
The world will be like solar eclipse. So
what it will mean is that every politician has lost their job. Forget about those who are still in the Senate and House of Rep now. If Peter Obi wins, they lost their job, because this kind of man is not going to share anything to you. Everybody knows this. So they have lost their job everywhere. So every political leader is panicking because they don't know what the court will do. If the court do what they're supposed to do, which this man Peter Obi has one way or the other, he has tried to surprise everybody. I was
I give that to him.
Yes, in 2003 or something thereabout, 2003, 2005, was at the Politico Grammar School, Oka in Anambra State. So he was the governor then. Actually, I was a school prefect then. He bought us 2 computers. Later, more HP computers came. It was like over 20 before I left the school.
Right.
The 2 school buses that usually advertise in school, I saw it with my eyes. But during that period, remember, he kept going to court and kept winning these cases.
I know.
So it's why when I look at all these
courts, I say, back then, who had all the power then, even though they may not be as powerful today, but back then, these were real people. We say they now.
No, they were so powerful because there was no social media to curtail them.
There was no social media.
You and me cannot do this thing we are doing now back then when they were running things.
No.
But there were judges who found a way to give judgment to this man. So that's why when you look at these things at times, you say, just maybe, there is little something that will happen. So we are hoping that we are hoping that yes. Then I'm going to go to wait, I'm not done, please. Please, I'll be very fast.
Okay, go for it.
Emefiele, this thing and the drama. What I wrote about it, I think I wrote something and I said, this was what was meant to happen before it even started. What you people do not even understand is that Emefiele has now been picked up by the government. he has been satisfied by the court as somebody that should be free. This is what was meant to happen from beginning to end. So nobody was about to prosecute him on anything.
There was no prosecution coming.
Yeah, so it was a matter of pretend as if you are going to prosecute him, then use the court and clear him so that everybody go home in peace. Maiyegun, let me ask you something. Does Tinubu have any moral right to probe a human being of any crime? Is there any crime you know Tinubu has not committed?
It doesn't. And that is why a lot of people, especially young people, are saying, why should anybody still be in jail in Nigeria right now?
Exactly. So what did the person do?
Not be prosecuted for any crime anymore in Nigeria? If somebody like that.
I was listening to an interview of people, criminals in some courts in Bonny State and in prisons in Bonny State. They said this one tried kidnap. It was 30,000. This one was paid 30,000 naira to kidnap somebody, and the person has been in prison for about 7 years.
Wow.
30,000 naira, just 30,000. So which means he was hungry. That's why he committed that crime. If you give that person a job of 50,000, that person might not even be a criminal. You know, right?
Criminal.
So there is nothing Tinubu has not done, and then everybody is now saying Tinubu cannot prove anybody. What kind of crime?
He doesn't have the moral right. He doesn't have all that kind of moral stance.
I know there are other callers, but I still have to just give you something on Wenger Daniels. If you listen to the interview,
you would have to of your happy with that.
Yeah, I want to rub, no, because I want to rub it on your face.
All right.
When Daniel is your brother, there's something he said here. He said if the government does not approve the loan by the executive, they might not be able to pay salary, and then there will be problem everywhere.
There will be no projects.
So Maiyegun, what I'm asking is, so we just hired a group of people who cannot even tell us the way they will raise salary to pay us if they don't go and borrow that money.
They don't know to generate money. They can't generate wealth.
And on camera, they are telling the media, if we don't approve this loan, how do you think you can get your salary? Nobody is worried. Maiyegun, if the Prime Minister of UK come to your neighborhood tomorrow morning and buy 2 buildings at the same time, what would you people do in UK? What do you think will happen?
In fact, I'll be surprised if it's not the headline everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you know
what I'm saying.
It doesn't, you know.
I don't know how else to say it, but it's not working. Maiyegun, it's not working. We just have to find another way. It's not working.
Closer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Baba. What happened is that sorry, I have another comment. Okay, can we just try and keep it, kind of simple, like no stretch? I know a lot of us love talking, and once I start talking to you like that, we even forget about the time. Yeah, here's my other caller. Hello there. I thought I got that. Why did it drop?
Here's my other caller. Hello.
I got you earlier. I didn't know that dropped. Can you hear me? Okay. I wouldn't, you this my caller. I will advise you to call the WhatsApp then. I've picked you 3 times. And for some reason, it seems that somebody was just flashing me. I don't like that. So I'm going to go get another call. And I want you to stop calling directly too, please. If you are that person calling the number directly from here in the UK, don't. I could stop you from calling at all. You know that there's a button that can actually block you. All right. If you want to call in and speak on the phone. Don't call in and then when I pick it up, you cut off the phone. Don't do that. And don't call me directly, please. Hello there.
Hello, MaiyegunDiary.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. Very good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, this is Innocent Obi.
How you doing, Baba?
I'm fine.
I remember on this forum, yeah?
Exactly. Now, and I am back to my base, I was born and brought up in Onitsha. I grew up there. I did everything there.
That's brilliant.
I would say I was born, bred and buttered in Onitsha. So from time to time, I try to visit and because I have some people there. So even if everything happening in Nigeria, I cannot just abandon the people I have there. That's why everything happening there is, I used to feel the pain because so for someone like me, I always want to go back home. Every other time to go and visit my people there. So what can I do? So, exactly. I prefer home, irrespective of where I am resided, but home is the best for me. That is the basically what's happening. So, how are you doing, sir?
Well, same old, same old. We're just picking on, we are picking parts of the daily horror stories from Nigeria. It's just like chapter by chapter. We've picked few we can tonight. Those are the few we can. Apart from that,
very disheartening. Very disheartening, honestly. I want to say something about this Emefiole saga with DSS. You know, it's becoming very. I don't know how to put it. Very pathetic. How can, irrespective of the insurmountable evidence against Emefiole, they can only charge him for illegal possession of firearm and
like they are actually like mocking 200 million people. I feel like they are just having a big laugh.
That is I don't know how do you put this? Okay, why are they keeping him for long if that is the only crime you commit? I think they are just like the first caller said.
They are looking for more evidence. Mad people.
More evidence that he committed while in the detection or what? No, this place I don't just understand. Just like the first caller said, all these things are just acting scripts, kind of script they are prepared so that it look as if Kolu is doing something about the corruption in Nigeria, whereas him himself is the corruption embodiment of corruption. He doesn't have any to try anybody in Nigeria. Nigeria is just like a joke, just like we are. You read about the closing argument, or what's it called, of the. It's basically a very big joke, a laughable joke. Irrespective of insurmountable evidence, Labour Party and Peter brought to court. The only thing they can say is that they brought only one witness because these guys didn't prove anything. And maybe, like you have been saying, at the end of the day, maybe you will see the judiciary doing something that will make people, will trigger people to come out of the street.
Well,
that is not a place.
I don't think they want to make mistake of encouraging everybody to even have a glimpse of idea that the court can remove Tinubu. They don't want you to have that because they are going to manage if things go south. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So rather not but you never can tell. Just a few more days.
Yeah, I was just like the first caller. I was in Anambra when Peter Obi regained his mandate from then Chris Ngige. Chris Ngige, through the exactly. So we witnessed it. Was like something that we never manifest. So I don't know, but I'm having at the back of my mind maybe the miracle that happened during that time might repeat, because then he doesn't have anything like P2B was basically an ordinary Nigeria, because don't have anything in the government then. Then it was PDP in power. His political party Abeg never have any position of government in Anambra State then. But he emerged victorious from the court proceedings, and eventually became the governor and was impeached and later came back again. It was like the response he gave to I think Atiku Abubakar when he was like, it will be a miracle for Peter Obi to become the president. I don't know, I never can tell, but if you ask me, because of the things I've seen already and the charade they conducted in 25th February and subsequent 18th March. Maybe it will tell to your predictions, but I never can tell. Peter Obi, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I want to be optimistic.
I've not predicted anything. I just projected. You know what I did? I just like, if you know them very well, right? The ideal thing is for somebody not to kind of expect them to do the right thing, because when they do anything right, it's an error, and they don't take time before correcting such error. But you can't rule it out. I want to follow that same antecedent you mentioned now, okay? If we are talking about another person now, it could be a straightforward talk. We are talking about Peter Obi. If you ignore him, if you underrate him, it could be at your own peril. Let's use an example. 10 months.
Exactly.
Yeah, 10 months before the elections, okay? They started a movement that shook the entire Nigeria. Coughed out over 10 million votes. They cut them down to 6 million. That crisis of that election that they thought they have rigged is gone, is still with them, casting a shadow of illegitimacy on the supposed winner. Sure, you get people who said Peter Obi cannot win one local government. They were surprised that he won in 12. He won. They said he won in 11. Peter Obi won election in 18 states. From the record, we may know. Sure, you get. But I mean, somebody when they talk, say if you get 100,000 votes, got over 6. That means they reached 6.1 million to give him 6.1 million. Baba, nobody, they're no born to well.
And mind you, these are just 4. Exactly. These are 4 people sitting in the room.
Sure, you get these are people we get structure, we get experience. They're no born Tinubu or Atiku well to leave APC or PDP. Go and pick up any random party. 10 months to election, run for presidency. They no born them well. Nobody can do that.
Exactly.
Because people can underrate him as they like. Well, I mean, political analysts, those who understand better, will probably agree with me. Nobody will ever do that. Nobody has done that before, ever. Without spending money,
nobody.
Giving people money,
nobody. Exactly, without spending money. Ever. And you know, the funniest part was that people were ready to spend their own money to support the movement.
They were spending their money.
People were out. People were all out to support, to make sure that this movement succeed. And now people will be, irrespective of the conduct of Mr. Yakubu, people are still with P2B, but they are not making noise. Everyone is paying attention, paying a close look at the judicial to see if they will come up. Yeah, a lot of us it's crazy on Twitter. When you go to Twitter, you see these Aborian, making noise. So I don't know what to call them because these guys are suffering. They are suffering. They are in perpetual poverty. Now they are going to gain, I think, 8,000 naira for 1 month for a family of 6. And according to the projection of this APC, that they have to make sure that these people are, in abject poverty before they can give that 8,000. It's I don't know how to put it, but it's ridiculous. How can someone survive with 8,000? I would ask 8,000. I cannot buy any basic amenities. Even you cannot even. 8,000 is not even enough for. I think, if I can be honest with you,
make it easier for you, just
1 day meals.
That's what they are giving to them. And if you have a family of 8 people in your household, man, you can tell us what 8,000 I can find for them.
There's no plan. There's no plan. It will only get worse. It will only get worse. It will only because this what's it called? This a kind of assembly of all old criminals. They are all surrendering their faces. Even last time I saw Ibori in there.
Lunatics have taken over the asylum, Baba. Everybody's at the mercy of
people with their right senses.
I tell you.
People with their right senses are trying to let us know that something good will come out of this. That is insanity. That is the height of insanity. Honestly, because how can you repeat something and expect another kind of different results? It's complete madness.
That's what they ask.
Exactly. Maiyegun, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking my call.
Nice one.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right.
Thanks, man. Now, it's actually very unique, right? When people talk about Peter Obi and the obedient, you see, whether you are supporting them or you're not supporting them, whether you're obedient or you are not, okay? But it's actually something unique. Let me take this and I'll tell my caller to hang on. My caller, I want you to hang on there. I've muted you. Nobody can hear you, but you can hear me. Please stay there for a moment, okay? Just a moment of reflection, okay? They say Tinubu is an experienced, powerful politician, Abi. Atiku, experienced, rich, powerful politician, Abi. Me, I will say it to you again and again. Sure, you get. They're not born any of these two or any. They're not born any politician well in this your Nigeria of today. Okay, to leave that PDP and APC, just him, and then go ahead and join a relatively unknown or no structure political group, 10 months to a presidential election, and then use those parties, that party, to push a national election to the point whereby you disgrace the INEC. They can't count votes anymore. They can't even write results. And some of you are sitting down there and say, I know, Obi can never be president in Nigeria. Obi, I know that we dodge a bullet. Omo, you didn't dodge anything. Listen, you didn't even stop him. If they didn't use your violence, rigging, manipulation, which wasn't even enough, Babama would think I'm now. Then born Atif Kuwel to go and start with any party and say 10 months to election won't be president, and then go win one state or two. A lot of you were beating your chest. I remember all of that, documented them here. If Obi win one local government, I go give you 1 million. If Obi score 1 million, if Obi score 500,000 votes, I'll give 5 people 5 million. People were bragging nonsense. These are empty-headed idiots on social media. You know, that's once they call it false sense of sort of sense of achievement that social media kind of give us. If you have 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers, even if you are stupid as anything, you can have political opinions. You can talk about, like I'm just saying, like you can be so kind of like that. No, you can't. I saw all of that. A lot of people. So if you are looking at what really happened, significant thing that happened in your election and your charade is that PDP APC, they had to coordinate themselves to attack people who no get structure. People who no get, you know what I mean? People who came together 10 months to election. People who are holding flags and phones, who are holding this and that on Twitter and Facebook. They shook those with decades of political career. They shook them to their foundation. They had to rig election to stop them. If not, these guys will beat APC. They will beat PDP. Some of your governors you are seeing today will not be governors. Some of the senators you are seeing today will be gone by now. I just thought I should remind you, in case if somehow you are feeling down and you don't know what you achieved, you shook Nigeria political space, okay? To the point that those who claim to be powerful structural people, you ran them aground. They shat their pants. They are now turning around to say, you can never be anything. They stopped you. They didn't stop you the right way. Sorry, I just thought I should remind you. My caller, are you still there? Osita. Is it
that is me, my brother.
Osita. One name.
One name. You are marvelous. You are marvelous. You are delight. You're delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Osita is my hype man. Any other one will have to seek Osita's permission. He's so good at it. All right, but don't take everything he said. Osita.
All right.
How you doing, sir?
Anyway, yeah, I'm good.
Brilliant.
What I want to talk about today is let me first of all talk about Emefiole. I have said this times without number here that everything these people will do, they will catch somebody. All they do is that when they catch anybody, they will have to go and dialogue with the person to come to their own side. Because if you look at it, ever since they took office, you will see how many people, how many criminals has visited Aso Rock.
Yes, sir.
They know what they are doing.
They do.
What they are doing right now is that they know that most of these criminals controls their catchment area. So because they control the catchment area, they still want them to go and influence those people the more. As they are coming in there, they are cashing out. They are not just coming there for coming sake.
They are not living empty-handed, though. They are actually being planted and say, you need to keep
so all of them are cashing out. So what he is using, the ideology he is using is that if I get any of these criminals, they will work for me within their locality. That the more they influence people within their locality, which I know I'm not popular among the people of their locality.
Nobody voted for him.
They never voted for me. But when they see that you align with me, most of them will still come back to me and say, oh, give him a chance so that he can do the job. Right. That is what you are saying. The whole goodies that they are trying to bring, the whole negative goodies they are bringing on the table, they are only bringing it for cheap popularity. That is what they are trying to achieve. Which makes me want to talk about somebody who came up here yesterday and was talking about, the reason I'm going to talk about it He knows them. I know them too.
Right.
If they hear my voice here, they will know I am the one. The governor of my state, he calls Onwa. The meaning of Onwa in English language, Onwa is the moon that gives light.
Like in Yendeba,
It is the moon. Yes, it is the moon. But when they call you Onwa, it significantly says the moon that gives light when there is darkness. My brother, that guy is no Onwa. He can get the chieftaincy title from, like you said the other day, that our traditional rulers, they are all puppets.
Yes.
You could get those traditional titles. Doesn't mean it befits your personality. That guy don't know what is called Onwa. Him that is the governor, he doesn't know what is called Onwa. If he's Onwa, he will not be allowing people to die in where he comes from, his own particular place. We come from the same senatorial district. He won't allow people to die just like that. I am not a supporter of Rochas, but was people dying as bad as Rochas was people dying in that state like that? Rochas even used it to say something. He said, he made a statement that I never allowed the military to come to my state. And we quote bad governors who don't allow things like that to happen. The Anambra State former governor, when they said, oh, they want to declare state of emergency in Anambra, he went to Aso Rock and told Buhari that, Mr. President, you cannot do it.
Don't bring your soldiers there.
Yes, he said so. He accused Malamu on national TV that he doesn't know the nonsense, that he's talking around nonsense. That is what is called Onwa. It's not because of you have money that you stole from wherever you stole it from, and you give people stipends, and you're telling me that you're Onwa. Then when you're telling I'm talking from the guy's statement. When you said that he knows economically he is not viable enough to competent enough to rule the state. His incompetence is incompetent. He's not good enough, both morally and otherwise. He's not good enough to rule that state. Just today, I was reading. He said he increased the minimum wage to 40,000 naira. What's the difference between 40,000 naira and the 30,000 naira?
10,000.
Why did you not increase it in the last dispensation? All these things he's doing, they have one style. They don't have two styles. They have one style: cheap popularity, emotional blackmail, so that people will say, oh, his election is coming. Let us give him the next 4 years because of, oh, he increased our salary. You increase it to fill the gas tank of a Toyota Camry. To fill the gas tank of a Toyota Camry today in Nigeria is 42,000, if not more than. So how much is 40,000? The 30,000 he's owing salary. He has not been able to pay salary, but you are increasing his owing salary. So these things that we are seeing here, it is all gang up, a gang of criminals. It's not all about Tinubu. It is all about all of them. They only use Tinubu as the face value of their wickedness. But if it is any other thing, my brother, they are all the same, and they are using the same system, and that is the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Osita. Another one from a veteran. So I have another caller as well. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, ma.
Hello, Maiyegun.
Ma?
Yeah, it's nice speaking with you today again.
It's a pleasure. How are you, ma?
I'm good, and you?
Well, very well. I can't complain. A lot of people can hear you as well, ma. Please.
Okay. You know, Maiyegun, the last time I spoke with you, I told you something. But I took a lot of that. I could not finish what I came to for that day. I told you that the best thing we that is fighting for the betterment of Nigeria can do for ourselves is fight hard now. How do we fight hard? In our own strength, because the people in control of Nigeria, they have possessed Nigeria.
Yeah.
How do we fight hard? Let's use the last strength in us. This social media you're using, those in Twitter. We know that Instagram has issues. They keep monitoring, but Twitter is better off. In YouTube, tweet as many million tweets that you can tweet. You saw that in the EU report, they recognized it. And one of the things that hit hard on their head was that EU report. on that last week of PDP, of INEC and APC. You saw they went gaga. All of a sudden, Tinubu started tweeting. All of a sudden, INEC chairman that kept mute for months came out to address the public, talking nonsense, capping.
Talking about them prosecuting election offenders. You're right.
One thing about criminals, when you decode their strategy before they carry out their strategy, they try to use the plan B. By the time you decode their plan B, they start making hell of mistakes that will put them into more troubles. So we don't have the strength to fight them because they have my people, they said you are the owner of the yam, you are the owner of the knife. How you want to cut it is how you will cut it. So the only strength we have now, it is our voice in the social media. If 10 people can tweet, 20 people that's what we need now. I told you the other time, I told you that Tinubu has, before I spoke here, I said Tinubu has a very bad network. If he conquers, he conquers. The guy knows how to buy people. And the other day you were talking about the Nnamdi Kanu. I can tell you, if I go by my analysis, I will tell you the people that captured the Nnamdi Kanu is not Nigerian government network. It's Tinubu's network. The guy has you, my Igbo brothers, as network. He has an Hausa man as his own person. He has a Togo man.
He's like the Lord.
He is a kingpin. Do you know what it takes? This guy didn't mention a word on Sunday Igboho's case. Did you see him say anything? He didn't say anything. Did you ever see him make a comment? The first time Tinubu commented on the whole killing in Yoruba land was 2 weeks to the time he declared his campaign. That he gave 100,000 million. He has never made any. He was mute all throughout this thing. The killings were going on in Yoruba land. He never said anything. Until we knew that he was coming for campaign. So this guy, Buhari has no capacity to trap Nnamdi Kanu down. Somebody was saying the other day, when Nnamdi Kanu was making noise, he was not killing. He was talking. Nnamdi Kanu was literally a voice that leaked so many secrets that we are seeing today.
Yes.
But yet, they were calling him, they want to trap him down because he was spoiling their plan B, their plan C, their plan D. They became confused. You know, when you have about 10 plans and somebody has exhausted your plan to the public, to replan again.
You probably would rather just get rid of him instead of him getting rid of your plans.
Again. Now, the ECMA is killing. It is assumed that ECMA is killing, and nobody is saying anything to trap ECMA down. The way they want to trap Nnamdi Kanu down. So you know that. Look, Tinubu knows what he's doing. If Tinubu doesn't know what he's doing, Nnamdi Kanu would have been the first person for him to release to appease the Igbos. To appease people that hated him, they will go against Peter. You don't know. So they know what they're doing.
I've been expecting that. That's why I said the other day that I know it's complicated for them, but it's also very straightforward. Nobody should be begging Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu. They should just ask him to obey the court. He just needs to obey what the court said and let him go.
That would have something even some. That would have helped him a bit.
Sure, you get it. You can even offer that as the olive branch to say, listen, you know, something happened in 1999. Sham, let me say that to you. If you remember, right? The Yorubas didn't vote for Obasanjo. In fact, Obasanjo, the AD, the likes of this Tinubu and gang, in their campaign then, were made to believe, our own parents were made to believe that AD is Yoruba, okay? And Obasanjo, even though he may look like a Yoruba man, he is not a Yoruba man, he's Igbo man. His mother was, I'm telling you this, I wasn't too young during that campaign, 1999, yeah? They were telling Yorubas that Obasanjo's father was an Igbo man. Who slept with his, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they said he's a soldier.
I know the story.
That was moving, you know, you later read about that, Abi. I'm talking about this one, there was no internet. They were campaigning like this megaphone in my village.
I was already an adult as of 1990, so you are talking to the right person.
So I saw people campaigning. They were campaigning like megaphone. Obasanjo is not Yoruba. Obasanjo is Hausa, Oma Hausa ni. So what happened after the election? The Yorubas delivered the entire Southwest to AD Olufalaye. You know what happened after that?
They went against Obasanjo seriously. They said that IBB brought Obasanjo to compensate.
Share you guys.
To compensate. Yeah, they know. I know.
But you know what happened after? You know what happened after? Obasanjo decided